3 days after the funeral, I found a voicemail I almost deleted without listening to. It was from my stepfather, recorded the exact night before he went into the hospital. By the time I finally heard his voice, he'd already been gone for 72 hours. And the 7 minutes he left me on that recording. They completely unraveled 22 years of lies my mother had built her entire life around. My name is Reese Calloway. I'm 29 years old. I grew up in Clarksburg, West Virginia, in a house that looked warm from the outside, but felt like a waiting room on the inside. My mother, Diane, remarried when I was 5. His name was Frank Morrow. He was a retired electrician with thick, calloused hands, a slow smile, and a laugh that rumbled from somewhere deep in his chest. I loved him the way kids love anyone who treats them with an ounce of gentleness. But by the time I was 8, I understood a hard truth. I was not the child Diane had chosen to love the loudest. That would be my half-brother, Cody. 2 years younger, blue-eyed, and Frank's biological son. Cody was the one whose drawings filled the refrigerator. Cody was the one whose baseball games Frank never missed. I was the one who sat in the stands, too, just a few rows back, just far enough away that I could pretend the distance didn't sting. My mom had a cruel talent for making my exclusion feel like my own fault. Reese, if you just tried a little harder. Reese, you make things so difficult. Reese, why can't you just be easier to love? I spent most of my childhood trying to answer that question. I never could. At 16, I got a part-time job at a diner 2 miles from the house, not for spending money, but because I needed a reason to be anywhere else. Miss Patty, the owner, let me work double shifts on holidays. I told her it was for the cash. She never questioned it. I think she understood more than she said. I put myself through community college, earned a grant to West Virginia University, and graduated with a degree in accounting. Nobody showed up. I told myself it didn't matter. I had gotten very good at believing that lie. But the night before graduation, Frank called. He said his knees were bad, that he couldn't make the drive. Then, after a pause, he said he was proud of me. Quietly, like he wasn't sure he was allowed to be. It meant more than I let on, because he was the only one who said it. After graduation, I moved to Charleston, found a job at a small CPA firm, and built a quiet life for myself. I still came home for Christmas sometimes. Same table, same seats. Cody talking about his business, his truck, his life. Like the room revolved around him. My mother watching him like he was something she had done right. And me, sitting at the edge of the table, counting down the hours until I could leave. Same as always. Last November, Frank suffered a stroke. They said it was mild at first, but a massive second one hit 3 days later. He was in the ICU before any of us had time to process it. My mother called me. Her voice was ice cold and controlled. "Frank's in the hospital. You don't need to come. Cody and I have it handled." I came anyway. I drove 4 hours through a sleet storm. When I walked into the ICU waiting room, my mother looked at me like a misdelivered package. "Reese, I didn't think you were coming." I told her I wanted to be there. She nodded and went back to her phone. Frank passed 8 days later. I was there. I held his hand in the final hour while my mother and Cody stepped into the hallway, already making arrangements before he was even gone. I stayed. Just me, Frank, and the quiet hum of the machines. He squeezed my hand once, hard, like a period at the end of something long. The funeral was held in Clarksburg. My mother sat in the front pew beside Cody, the picture of a perfect family. I sat 2 rows back. I almost sat with them, but she looked at me, and that was enough. I moved. 3 days later, I was back in my apartment clearing out my voicemail inbox. Spam calls, a dentist reminder, a coworker. Then I saw it. Frank Morrow, November 14th, 11:47 p.m., the exact night before his stroke. My thumb hovered over delete. Something made me press play. "Reese, it's Frank. I've been sitting here at the kitchen table, and I got something I should have said a long time ago." I set my coffee down. "I didn't try hard enough with you. I told myself you didn't need me. But that was a coward's lie. The truth is, your mama made it hard, and I let her. I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe. I paused it. Then I pressed play again. She wanted to change the will, cut you out completely, said you didn't deserve it. My heart dropped. I told her no. We fought about it for years. And when my health got worse, I hired a lawyer on my own. Silence. The house is split 3 ways, equal, and I set up a savings account just for you. I froze. Because you never had a safety net. You built everything yourself, and I was proud of you. I just never said it enough. My eyes filled. I wanted you to finally have something solid to stand on. A pause. I love you, kid. I always did. I was just too quiet about it. The voicemail ended, and everything changed. I called the lawyer. It was real. $40,000. A third of the house. 11 years of quiet deposits. My mother found out before the reading. She called me at 6 a.m. What did you say to him? I didn't say anything. He wasn't thinking clearly. He was. She hung up. Cody texted me. Must be nice to play the victim and still win. I didn't reply. At the will reading, my mother didn't look at me once. When it was over, she walked out without a word. Cody paused at the door, for the first time in his life. He looked unsure. Then he left too. I stayed, because for once, I didn't have to leave. Later, I called Miss Patty. She listened quietly, then said, "Some people love you loud and late, but they still love you." I didn't forgive my mother. I still haven't. Maybe I never will. But I did stop waiting for her to see me. And that changed everything. I have a floor to stand on now, not because anyone gave it to me easily, but because someone quietly made sure I never fell. He saw me. He always did. He was just too quiet about it. And for a long time, so was I. But not anymore. If this story hit you even a little, tell me which moment stayed with you, and if you've ever had to build your life from nothing. Type "I built it" in the comments, because sometimes the person who never said it out loud was the one who believed in you the most.